Jake Dennis. I drive the number 27 for Avalanche Andretti in Formula E.
A fantastic beginning to the championship. Before the very beginning of it, while in Valencia, have you imagined this performance in a race?
Honestly, I think leaving Valencia, I think everyone was a little bit shocked of the pace of the other competitors, and then I think we were even more shocked after Mexico. You know, we came away winning the race by 8 seconds, so it was a super big surprise for us, but it was a welcomed one. And yeah, nevertheless, I think from that point on, we've always showed good pace, especially in the racing. But yeah, a bit of a surprise for sure. But nevertheless, I think we worked hard from Valencia to Mexico, and we deserved the improvement in pace.
Having driven the BMW powertrain last year and the Tag Heuer Porsche this season, can you compare both?
It's actually quite difficult to compare the two, purely because we've obviously gone from Gen 2 to Gen 3, so there's a very big difference in terms of kilowatts power. You know, we've got an extra 100 kilowatts now, so yeah, a lot more power this season, but yeah, quite challenging for me to really compare the two. You know, they're both obviously electric motors, they both do the same job, but yeah, one has a lot more power than the other, which is expected with the new regulations.
The first 3 races showed great dominance by Porsche powered drivers, but things seemed to get even in Hyderabad. Did it happen due to the layout, the surface, or a new strategy on energy conservation?
I think generally we obviously had a really strong start to the season. Like you said, you know, we had 3 wins out of 3 with a Porsche powertrain. Hyderabad, I think if we started a little bit further up the front, we would have had also probably another win. You know, I started P12 and was running P3, so I think we just obviously started a little bit too far back in Hyderabad and couldn't quite get to the front in time, but nevertheless it was still a good result, or would have been a good result. And then in Cape Town, another Porsche powertrain won, so I think we still have the pace over the other competitors, but the gap's always closing and they're always pushing hard to try and beat us.
I've noticed the Avalanche Andretti shows a better performance in race than in shootout lap. What steps are you working at to mirror race results in qualification?
Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that we're struggling a little bit in qualifying compared to what we have in the race. There's a few scenarios why this is the case, you know, track layout, track surface. I think we definitely know our weaknesses, which we need to try and improve on, and we're always working hard back at base to try and improve these. And then obviously in the racing, they sort of turn into our strengths. You know, when the track layout has lots of straights into big braking zones, this then turns into a positive for us. So I'm hoping we can try and improve on our qualifying pace by working hard, always bringing improvements, and yeah, close the gap to the other competitors over 1 lap, and that should make life even easier for us in the race.
Finally, what is the main challenge that the SaoPauloEPrix brings to the Avalanche Andretti team?
I think one of the biggest challenges for Sao Paulo and for everyone will be, one of the biggest challenges for everyone for the SaoPauloEPrix is really just the track layout itself. It's really short, very long straights into tight twisty corners, so this creates a really big challenge for the engineers to try and get the balance right between straight line and cornering. So I think if we can try and get on top of that quicker than everyone else, then we should have a good weekend. But nevertheless, we still need to keep working hard over qualifying, like I mentioned, and but I have very high confidence that we'll be very competitive in the racing here.
My name is André Lotterer and I'm racing for the Avalanche Andretti Formula E team on the car number 36. But stayed with the Porsche powertrain, so I've been able to do some Gen 3 testing and development on the Porsche side, and then when I moved to the Andretti side we continued the development together. So we are also helping each other, you know, between both teams to try to get the benefit out of the 4 cars. So I got to know the Andretti team basically, and I brought my engineer as well from the Porsche team. So it is not a massive change for me, but it was interesting to see how Andretti operates and the different setup philosophies. So you know, you make the difference on small marginal details in Formula E, and I think we've proven at Andretti that we have a winning car, and so potentially sometimes do or potentially do better things than in the Porsche team.
How hard is it to deal with energy management, having to drive lighter and faster cars?
It's a completely different dynamic with the Gen 3. So It is actually a little bit easier. The car is much more efficient. In the Gen 2 car, the way we were managing the energy was more complex because we had this lifting, coasting, recuperating a lot on the pad, on the steering, and then braking, or sometimes not even braking at all. And the Gen 3 has a lot more recoup power through the front MGU, so the front FPK. So you go more from a lift to braking directly. You can use the pad to regen, but there's so much more coming on the brakes that it makes it easier. So you basically have to be just precise about your lift point, and then you go into the corners kind of normally.
Is there any Tag Heuer Porsche engineer that worked with you last season who shifted from Porsche to Andretti? If the answer is yes, who is he and how long have you been working together?
Yes, that's Fabrice Roussel, my engineer that I've been working actually since I joined Formula E in season 4. So I haven't worked with anyone else in terms of engineer so far in Formula E.
Rounding up and taking advantage of nobody listens to us, how is it to work for Michael Andretti?
I'm proud to work for Michael Andretti and the Andretti name. I'm a big fan of the legacy that Mario Andretti started. I really admire his career, and actually, funny enough, that doesn't make me younger, but I've raced against Michael Andretti in the past. I was very young. That was a 2001 Champ Car race, Mexico City. I think I was 19 or 20. It was a one-off race for me, and he was still racing. So, and you know, with my name Andre, and you just add 2 T's and an I, it's kind of a good match.